Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today I am joined by the amazing Joshua Drake of Future Filmmaker Reviews. Joshua, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing awesome. Very nice to finally be on the channel and interact with you guys. This
Oh,
has
dude,
been a
this is
long
so amazing. You've been a friend of the channel for a very long time, and I'm glad that we finally were able to make this happen. But before we talk about the reason why you're here, I want to talk about
time.
you a little bit first, Joshua. Um, and Joshua is a 24-year-old autistic YouTuber and film lover slash writer. He's a big fan of the Elizabeth Olsen Scarlet Witch, Harry Potter geek, and his house is Gryffindor. I consider myself more of a Slytherin myself, but
Awesome.
we'll leave that at that. He loves his family and friends, but also really loves TV, music, video games, and he's been really getting into anime lately. And his favorite films have a lot of variety in the top 100 and his honorable mentions. So, um, for you to come out as a 24-year-old young man and be so proud of, being an autistic YouTuber, that's really inspiring, man, because my daughter's on the spectrum. She's high functioning autism.
Yeah.
And, to see somebody like you that comes out and you don't use it as a crutch, it's who you are, but it doesn't define you. And to me, that is so powerful and so inspiring, especially for such a young man to come out and be like, you know what? I'm a 24-year-old. I have autism, but I'm not going to let that hold me back. I'm not going to let that slow me down. I'm still going to do all these things that I want to do. So, what gave you the inspiration to become a YouTuber, Joshua?
Well, it started in 2014. I was watching video reviews like Chris Stuckman and Review King, MB, and then Jeremy Johns, then JW Universe, a few of those. And I was seeing a bunch of other people talk about movies, and I figured, why not try it too? So back in 2014, on my very first channel, with one of my very old phones and one of my old email accounts, didn't really start using YouTube until 2015, and the first video I ever did was a review, an older review for Disaster LA, which was a zombie film released on the Sci-Fi Channel. But I kept doing videos on that old channel, but then I was fighting copyright claims and the copyright strikes, and ultimately that older channel got deleted, and so did that old email. So I said I wasn't going to give up, so I started a new channel, which is the current channel that people watch, Future Filmmaker Reviews with Joshua. But it started off as Future Filmmaker 39480 for a few years, and then a few years in 2019, I changed it to Future Filmmaker 39480 Reviews. And as I was in my last 2 years of high school, junior year and senior year, I not only made a goal to not only focus on finishing high school, but also putting a lot of my time onto YouTube channel and do YouTube. And slowly but surely, while still having to make some improvements as far as the sound and looking at how people edit, finding my own style of editing, so just trying to gain a lot more people to watch. I find that the process of doing YouTube has been a lot of fun. It's given me a lot of fun. It's like movies, TV. Like I said, I may not get a lot of comments a lot of the time, but the people who do watch me and the people who do watch my channel or to see what I have to say about a movie, whether it's a new release or an older release or a TV show or something, or if I do a live stream while watching a movie or such, it's a lot of fun to just sit there and interact. The biggest thing you do have to go into when it comes to YouTube is you do have to deal with trolls, you do have to deal with copyright claims, and you definitely do have to deal with people who are more popular than you. But I what I find is, despite the fact that I am an autistic YouTuber and I've been living with autism since I was younger, since I found out, it has never really brought me down. It's never really stopped me from being who I am, even when I'm not doing YouTube. And I think that's the beauty of being part of the YouTube community, especially in the film community, where I just talk a variety of genres. Like I love horror, I love sci-fi, action, superheroes, action, comedy, drama, musical, all of that.
Right. Well, and being part of this community is, once you are a part of the YouTube community, especially when it comes to the horror world, because I know that you do love your other, you love your Disney, you love your action and your comedy, but when you're
Hmm.
part of the horror world, you're family. And
Hmm.
obviously family fights, so there's arguments and things like that, but we always have each other's back when it comes down to it. And I'm so proud to call you my friend. I'm proud to call you a member of the Sledgehammer horror family. And it's
I'm
something
proud to
that
be a
that,
member.
well, and you can be an inspiration to other people with autism that feel like, man, I can't do this, or people are going to laugh at me or whatever. All they got to do is watch you, and they learn that I can do this. If he can do this, I can do this. You can be an inspiration to other people. And to me, there's an old saying I always go back to. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. And you are one of those people that you just radiate positivity and kindness. And that's something you can't teach. You can't teach somebody to be nice. You can't teach somebody to be loving and kind and inspirational. That's just something that you are. And Joshua, that is what you are. You are an inspiration to a lot of people. And the fact that I can call you a friend is more important to me than even doing this video together, because videos like this come and go, man, but friendships are forever. So I'm so glad that I can have you here. And for those of you that would like to join the Future Filmmaker Reviews family, all of his social media links and his YouTube link are down here in the description. So make sure you're following him on social media. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube so you can check out all the things that he's working on. He's a machine when it comes to pumping out content. My boy is constantly getting you that content. So it's amazing and it's inspiring to watch. And we know what you got going on in the future with your movie reviews, Joshua, but now for a second, I want to go back to the past. And I want to talk about what got you started in the horror genre, the first horror movie you watched.
Uh,
And Joshua, your first horror movie was.
Freddy versus Jason, which I actually have right here in my collection, but it's only the special features discs. But it's
Mhm.
okay. I will be, but I do. Yeah, it was my first horror. So like back into 2003.
That's
Mhm.
awesome, man. And I didn't have a Freddy versus Jason shirt, so I figured I'd wear the Freddy shirt with the Jason mask as a hat. So, do you remember about how old you were the first time you had seen it, Joshua?
Well, 2000, I was born in 1998, and
Mhm.
from then we did try other scary movies when I was younger, like Bride of Chucky and Queen of the Damned, which is one of my guilty pleasures, and a lot. But 2000, it came out in 2003, but it didn't get a DVD release until 2004. And so 2004, I believe I was born in 1998. So 2004, I was born 98, born 99. I was 1 years old. 2000, 2004, I believe I was either 4 or 5 years old, but I think 3 or 4 or 5. I don't can't really
You
remember.
Well, no, that's fine, but I mean, that's a very young age to start watching a movie like this. Do you remember who you were with the first time you had seen it, Joshua?
I was with my mom and my oldest sister and my other sister who I have. I'm the only boy in the house full of girls. Yeah, I have four sisters, and that is not easy. But I managed to make it work.
Well, man,
But yeah, I
that
was
makes
with
you a
them.
stronger man because you know how to treat women the right way because you grew up
Mhm.
around them and you're the man of the house. So that's a good thing. I know it can be hard sometimes when you have five women against you, but it's made you a stronger man. And obviously, your sisters and your mom did an amazing job with you because you are a stand-up guy and you are a great person. So
Mhm.
nothing, I grew up with a single mom and one sister. So I was outnumbered too, man, but it taught me to be the man of the house. And it taught me that I needed to treat women the right way because they're strong and powerful and they need to be treated with respect all the time. And I know that that's the type of guy that you are as well.
Mhm.
So what scene, Joshua, from Freddy versus Jason, would you say affected you the most?
The scene that affected me the most was the bathroom scene with Brendan Fletcher as Mark, and you have Zach Ward he falls into a nightmare and he's trying to take Hypnosil, stay awake, but then Freddy gets into him and then he's making him see the blood and the water. And then he is just saying everyone forgot about me. That's why Jason needs a kill for me. And then when he gets trapped in there with Freddy, and then even though it was cut out of the movie, which is in the deleted scene, you have him throwing up the eels, which initially, when you look at up the history about the movie was originally supposed to be 2 hours and 30 minutes, with the deleted scenes initially put kept in. But that scene really affected me because eels, they are well, some of the most creepiest things, and also just I thought it was a very effective scene. I know it's kind of blasphemy to say that with a movie with this that has some ridiculous logic and would have some not very great characters, but I thought performances that were good. And for a movie that some people in both franchises love or either hate, and without this and without the other versus movie that preceded the year before, a year after this, with Alien versus Predator, I would never became a Freddy or Jason fan. Even with Alien versus Predator, without that movie, which I saw in 2006 when I was younger, when I was in elementary school and saw on DVD, I would have never became an Alien or Predator fan. But this movie is mainly responsible for my love for Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. And then after that, I went and watched the two remakes. And for the longest time, the 2010 remake was my favorite one. But now that I've seen all of them, I still have appreciation for the remake. I think it's okay, but I do feel like it was a waste of potential. But Freddy vs. Jason, I really have a lot of soft spot for this. That was the scene that really affected me. And also, I just like the idea of seeing two horror killers fight.
Yeah. Yeah. And something that you just said, it's not in the film when you see the eels and stuff, but if you guys haven't seen that scene, I have all of the deleted scenes from Freddy versus Jason down here in the description below as well. So when you're following Joshua on social media and subscribing to his YouTube, if you'd like to see these deleted scenes, I have that link down here in the description as well. Now, Joshua, we know which scene affected you the most from Freddy versus Jason, but what would you say your favorite scene from the movie is?
Oh, well, my favorite scene is the tie between the fight at Camp Crystal Lake at the end with them just going at it with fire and then limbs getting so and then it's because I really just enjoy the action in that moment and Robert Englund and Ken Kersinger, who is my favorite Jason, right next to Derek Mears.
Mhm.
Um, they're just ripping it to each other and great stunt work, great practicality. And the second one would be the scene in the cornfield. Even though you have a great soundtrack in this movie with Nightmares featuring with Junkie XL featuring Infusion, and then other songs playing. And with Jason, he's just going through the cornfield on fire, and he just goes full unhinged. He's just going, wow, that
And
always gives me excited too. Those two
I
scenes are
love
so.
I love the part in that scene when the girl's about to be sexually assaulted and Jason, I mean, he kills her, so I guess it's not really that good, but at least
But
he kills the rapist too. So I mean, you got a little bit of positivity there. So I can't
just
stand sexual assault. So that's one thing for me that I'm
yeah,
always happy when I see that.
yeah, yeah, I do have a hard time with those, especially in horror movies. Hey, I sat through the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the Fincher version at 17, and I got through it. I have to, even though I got through it just fine, but you do have to be in the right mood for those type of moments.
Yeah, because it could definitely put a lot of pressure on your chest when you're watching those. So we kind of talked about kills a little bit, and as horror fans, we do like the kills. Which kill would you say was the most effective from Freddy versus Jason, in your opinion?
I gotta say, when I would say the opening after Freddy's monologue, but I'm gonna go with the scene in the bedroom when Captain Isabel, she's off showering after the lovey-dovey stuff. But which fun fact, when they were making the movie, she was promised that she would not have to do that, but Ronnie Yu did go against his word, and they end up having to do it anyway. Which I did look that up, and I was like, even watching the behind the scenes, I was like, not you can't do that. You can't just go
Yeah.
back against your word. But when Jason shows up and the guy in the bed is just he's having a drink and he's waiting, and then Jason just right there and he's just going,
Yes.
and then he just flips the bed
Holds him.
over.
And
That
it's even better because that guy was such an asshole. Like he treated his girlfriend so badly. We talked a little bit ago about how important it is to treat the women in your life. And that guy treated
absolutely
his girlfriend so badly, and he kind of got what he
that
deserved.
yeah, any character who treats their boyfriend or girlfriend like crap, honestly, I'm just gonna be waiting for you to get what you deserve. Even the first orphan, the dad, I cannot. Peter Sarsgaard, he was great in that movie, but I could not stand a lot of the decisions he made after 20 to 25 minute mark.
Yeah. Yeah. I can respect that. 100% respect that. So, well, let me ask you this, man. Usually I ask, would you like to see your first horror movie remade today? Now, I don't think that could really happen with Freddy vs. Jason. So instead of that, what I'm going to ask you, which do you prefer, Jason Voorhees or Freddy Krueger? Which of the two villains is your favorite of the two?
It's really tough because on one end you have Victor Miller and Sean S. Cunningham with Jason Voorhees, and his backstory is really great, and it's also very tragic. Him coming back every time someone you end up on his territory, you're automatically screwed. You're not getting
Right.
out of that life. And also, he's just a lot of fun to watch. But if I have to be honest, I would have to say Freddy Krueger because the late Wes Craven, may he rest in peace, he created a very iconic killer who not only was a child murderer, but also because he couldn't do it in the 80s was a child molester.
Hmm.
And his backstory when you find out what he was doing to kids, they and how the parents tracked him down. He got out on technicality and they burned him alive. Tragic, but it makes for a great villain. And I also love the idea of a killer who can kill someone in your sleep. Because once you go to sleep, you're basically screwed. You are fucked, like literally fucked.
And
You're
the thing
done.
is, like you can't stay awake forever. You have to go to sleep. Like you have to.
Yeah, yes, you can try coffee, you can try hypnosil, you can even try micronaps, even which they did explore in the remake, which I thought was a very creative idea.
Me too.
But if you stay awake for too long, your body was gonna shut down, and eventually you're gonna have to go to sleep. And
Right.
there's very few people that can fight him. But if you get lucky, you can fight him, bring him out to the real world, and stop him. And for
Right.
me, Freddy Krueger, he is my favorite of the two. I love Jackie Earl Haley's interpretation. I do wish if
Mhm.
more people did appreciate it, if things were a little bit better with the 2010 remake, we could have gotten more of them. But Robert Englund, he pulled off such an iconic character that he really brought his A game. Same to all the actors who played Jason, from Ken Kirzinger to Kane Hodder to Derek Ramirez. Now I know some people were upset because it wasn't Kane Hodder. I've never really had a problem with Ken Kirzinger, the way he moves. For his version, it works. Him walking around
Mhm.
slowly, robotic.
I agree with you. And my favorite Jason is CJ Graham. And so I mean, I think to each their own, we each have our own personal favorite. And if we all thought the exact same way and we all had the same favorite, these conversations would be really boring because we would all feel the exact same way. There'd be no reason to even have them. So um Joshua, we talked about your first horror movie being Freddy versus Jason and what that movie means to you. But now, my friend, I kind of want to throw a little bit of a curveball at you here for a second. My little buddy
Okay.
Ghostface is here, and he has a question for you. What's your favorite scary movie, Joshua? what is your favorite horror movie of all time?
My favorite horror movie of all time is going to be the original Final Destination.
Oh, good choice, man.
Yes, I mainly started with Final Destination 2 when I was younger, but I went back and it was at the time when the third one was coming out, and I watched the first movie, and I really love how the first movie just sets up all the rules about how
Yeah.
you can't escape death, and a lot of the creative kills that they had, and just a simple premise about you escape your death, you escape your own death, and one by one death comes for you all. And Devon Sawa, Ali Larder, of course, who I still very much love her as an actress, always have, when not since I was younger, with Final Destination 2 and the House on Haunted Hill. I very much appreciate Kara Smith, even though I hate the character Carter, I couldn't wait until he got what he deserved at the end, because he was this. I'm sorry, he
Right.
was. But that is actually my favorite horror movie of all time, the first Final Destination.
Yeah, that's a really good choice. And I love that movie as well. Devon Sawa still to this day is one of my favorite actors. So yeah, I genuinely love that movie too. Well, man, Joshua, I've had an amazing time with you talking horror and all things over at your channel. But this has been amazing, and all good things must come to an end. But before they do, I have one last question for you. We're going to bounce back to Freddy versus Jason. And what we're going to do here, my friend, is we are going to rank this on a skull count. Now, we're not judging this movie on acting, production, score, nothing like that, my friend. What we're doing here, Joshua, is we're strictly ranking this movie on how much it affected you on first viewing. So 0 skulls being not effective, 5 being extremely effective. You can use half and quarter skulls anywhere in the middle. Joshua, what would your ranking of Freddy versus Jason be?
I would go 4 skulls out of 5.
And that's great. You know what I mean? Like, it started your horror life. It started you down the path that you're on today. So that's a perfectly fair rating. So I know I said this at the beginning, but I'm going to say it again. All of Joshua's social media links, as well as YouTube link, are down here in the description. So make sure you're following him on social media to stay up to date on what he's doing. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube and hitting that bell, so that way you get the notifications every time he puts out a new video. If this is your first time here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you around for more as well. But Joshua, don't go anywhere, my friend. I got a couple more questions for you. Everyone else, as always, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.